Have you ever experienced a day that was completely destroyed by someone's words or deeds? It may have been an impolite remark, a careless gesture, or even just an unexpected inconvenience. It's annoying, isn't it? But the reality is that no one can control your emotions unless you allow them to. What if you could remain composed and unfazed by anything that happens to you or to anyone else? Imagine going about your day with such a strong sense of peace that even the most annoying circumstances couldn't frighten you. That's not wishful thinking. It's emotional mastery. We're delving into 10 life-changing lessons in this episode that will assist you in letting go of your anger, controlling your emotions, and preventing impulsive reactions. Lessons are about developing the mental fortitude to face life's obstacles with grace and clarity, whether that means letting go of grudges, creating boundaries, or handling criticism. They are not about denying your emotions or acting indifferent. By the end of this episode, you'll have the mindset and techniques necessary to remain calm, even in the most trying circumstances. So, if you're prepared to unlock the key to emotional freedom and live a life where no one else can control your mood, let's get started. The journey to mastering your emotions begins now that you realize that your reactions are your choice. Imagine this. You're in the middle of when someone says something impolite or careless on a tranquil day, perhaps while enjoying coffee or strolling through the park. Your composure is abruptly replaced by rage or fury, and you wonder why they ruined it. Power to choose my day, but the truth is that they didn't. You did. Your emotions are your responsibility, not theirs or anyone else's. Unless you give them that power, no one can control how you feel. Consider it this way. The world may present you with obstacles, but only you can choose how to respond. Allow me to offer you a new viewpoint. Imagine being in a bustling city with noise-canceling headphones on. The cacophony of honking cars and loud conversations doesn't go away. It just doesn't reach you. The same goes for controlling your reactions. You don't have to allow the cacophony of other people's behaviors to disturb your tranquility. A smart thought aptly expresses this. When someone cuts you off in traffic or unfairly criticizes your work, it's easy to blame them for your anger. However, what if you paused instead of reacting, finding the strength to choose calm over chaos, strength over impulsiveness? That's the space between stimulus and response where our power to choose our response lies. In our response, our growth and freedom are found. Here is an example from the real world. Take a minute if your coworker rejects your idea in a meeting, rather than retaliating or harboring resentment all day. Reframing the circumstance neutralizes its emotional impact. Take a moment to think about if this is about me or if it's their own stress or bias. The wonderful thing about this strategy is that it focuses on realizing that your emotions are distinct from your behaviors rather than trying to repress them. Anger, irritation, and disappointment are normal emotions, but they don't have to control your actions. Here's a quick tip to get you thinking in this way. When you are provoked, take a moment to recognize the emotion you're feeling, such as anger, hurt, or irritation. The automatic reaction cycle is broken by this. 2. Pose inquiries. Consider whether your feelings are a result of what transpired or how you interpret it. 3. Decide yours. Select your reaction. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember that their behavior doesn't define you. Your reaction does. By choosing to be calm, you gain not only emotional mastery but also true freedom. 2. Imagine the freedom of living your life without being bothered by other people's actions. The rude stranger, the thoughtless remark, the minor inconvenience. All of them lose their hold on you when you take control of your reactions. However, they are nowhere to be found when you need them. You feel disappointed and ask yourself, how could they be so careless? I would never treat them this way. The harsh reality is that people don't behave or think the same as you do. They act according to their own standards and values. Trying to control the weather is impossible and will only make you frustrated. Instead, each person is on their own path, shaped by their priorities, experiences, and beliefs. When someone irritates or upsets you, it's usually not a reflection of you. Rather, it's a reflection of their attempt to modify or control their behavior. which only leaves you feeling helpless, let me offer you an example. Instead of worrying about how other people should behave, try to accept them for who they are. Consider a colleague who frequently disrupts meetings rather than expressing annoyance or attempting to correct them. Release yourself from needless emotional distress by realizing that their habit has nothing to do with you and letting go of the hope that they will change. This is wonderfully summed up with a clever thought. Expectations are where all misery originates. Here's a useful exercise to help you let go of these expectations. The less you anticipate others to respond in a particular way, the more you safeguard your peace. One recognizes your practical exercise, presumptions. Instead of trying to control someone else's behavior, focus on how you can respond calmly and keep your peace. Consider how freeing this mindset is. When someone upsets you, ask yourself what you expected them to do. Then, challenge that expectation and consider whether it's realistic to expect someone else to act exactly as you would. The insensitive coworker, the forgetful buddy, and the unpleasant stranger. None of them can affect your feelings unless you allow them to. When you stop expecting other people to live up to your expectations, you regain control over your emotions. After all, people are not who you want them to be, and accepting this fact does not imply putting up with bad behavior or leaving your principles. It entails realizing that your tranquility is too precious to give up for something beyond your control. The next time someone disappoints or irritates you, take a moment to remind yourself that their behavior is natural and not mine, and that's okay because I get to choose how I react. By letting go of those expectations, you become free not only from other people's behavior, but also from the emotional burden they once carried. 3. Let go of the need to always be correct. Consider the last time you got into a heated fight. It could have been about something minor, like which way was quicker, or it could have been about something more serious, like a disagreement with a close friend or partner. We've all been there, holding on to our version of reality like it's a lifeline. But here's the thing that must always be correct. Did you feel the intense desire to prove your point and show them you were correct? It is needless and draining. Insecurity is frequently the root cause of the need to win every debate or validate your viewpoint. It seems as though being incorrect threatens our identity or worth. But what if you could completely let go of that need? What if you could approach arguments with interest rather than defensiveness? The question, would you rather be right or would you rather be at peace, is a strong one to remember because our insistence on being correct frequently leads to conflict, ruins relationships, and feeds our. But if you let go of the need to prove yourself, you can maintain your composure and handle disagreements with understanding. For example, if someone accuses you of something unfair, your natural reaction might be to defend yourself, make your case, or point out their shortcomings in response. However, what if you stopped and asked yourself, is it worth my energy to prove them wrong? Will this argument change anything important in my life? The answer is typically no. As an illustration, if a buddy insists that their approach to an issue is superior to yours, you could answer, I understand where you're coming from and I respect your perspective. According to taste philosopher Lao, you not only reduce tension, but also keep your composure and steer clear of needless confrontation. Timeless wisdom. A person who is devoted to his opinions will never advance. Here's how to begin adopting this mindset. 1. Pause before responding. When you feel the urge to argue, take a deep breath and consider whether it's worth your energy. 2. Letting go of the need to be doesn't mean compromising your values or being silent. Rather, it means realizing that not every disagreement needs to be resolved in your favor. How to begin? Seek comprehension rather than victory. Asking questions to get insight into the viewpoint of others is a common strategy for diffusing tense situations. Over time, you'll discover that letting go of the desire to constantly be correct brings about a great deal of freedom. Save your energy for arguments that are important, that are consistent with your principles, or that have a big impact. Because you've chosen peace over pride, you'll notice how much lighter and calmer you feel when you stop trying to dominate every conversation or prove every point. Keep in mind that your value isn't derived from winning arguments or demonstrating your intelligence, but rather from how you carry yourself and safeguard your energy, and how you keep your inner tranquility. The next time you feel like arguing, take a moment to remind yourself that being correct won't make you happy. Instead, being composed will, and you'll realize the real power of letting go of other people's opinions. Define your value. Picture yourself expressing an idea that you are genuinely enthusiastic about with someone excitedly, and then they cut you off with a contemptuous remark. Your confidence vanishes instantly. Why does this happen? It's because we frequently allow other people to speak. Describe how we view ourselves. The truth is that your value isn't based on other people's opinions, praise, criticism, or judgments. When you depend on other people to validate you, you give them the ability to regulate your feelings. Genuine emotional regaining that authority leads to freedom. Let's look at one example. A coworker offers harsh or personal criticism of your work rather than constructive criticism. Your first reaction may be to defend yourself or feel discouraged. But what if you took a moment to remind yourself that their statements represent their viewpoint rather than your own? By separating your value from their viewpoint, you can keep your composure and stay focused. Marcus Aurelius articulated this truth so brilliantly that I'm always in awe. We all value ourselves more than others, yet we are more concerned with their viewpoints than our own. This isn't about disregarding criticism or completely discounting other people. Rather, it's about determining what matters most. Although constructive criticism can aid in your development, unjustified negativity shouldn't be allowed into your thoughts. Here's how to stop allowing others to say that to you. Take a moment to define your value before how to stop responding when someone says something hurtful. Breathe for a moment. This allows you to choose your response rather than responding on the spur of the moment. 2. Distinguish fact from opinion. Consider whether what they are expressing is true or merely their viewpoint. Let go of the rest and concentrate on what will help you develop. Remind yourself that your value is inherent and unaffected by outside validation. Your worth is not contingent on anyone else's approval. Lao provides yet another level of insight. You will always be their prisoner, regardless of what other people may believe. Letting go of the need for approval does not imply that you no longer care about other people. Rather, it indicates that you no longer care about viewpoints that contradict your expansion. You relieve yourself of needless emotional burden by doing this. The next time someone says anything that makes you doubt yourself, in that instant, you regain your power and remind yourself that no one's words can lessen your value unless you allow them to. Stop and consider if I'm allowing this to define me, or if I can choose to concentrate on what I know to be true about myself. Knowing your value when you stop allowing other people to say things about you is what truly demonstrates your strength, not avoiding criticism. Define yourself. Make room for genuineness, self-assurance, and tranquility. And remember that no one can take that life away from you. Your energy by establishing boundaries. For example, if a friend calls you during a hectic day to ask for assistance with something they could probably do on their own, or if a coworker throws a last-minute assignment on you, expecting you to accept, you feel both the burden of duty and the annoyance of knowing that it will interfere with your plans. Why is it so difficult to say no? The truth is that creating boundaries is essential to maintaining your peace. Without boundaries, you allow other people to control your time, energy, and emotional health. Saying yes to everyone else frequently means saying no to yourself, which serves as a potent reminder that you can't pour from an empty cup. You will get burned out, resentful, and detached from your own needs if you give without safeguarding your energy. When someone crosses your limits, it's not their responsibility. Rather, it's your fault for not establishing and respecting them effectively. Limits are how you protect your emotional freedom while preserving healthy relationships. People don't read minds, so until you express what you're comfortable with, they'll keep pushing, frequently without your knowledge. Establishing boundaries is a sign of self-respect and teaches others to respect you. Here's an illustration. Instead of silently resenting them, you could say something like, "I care about you, but I need to keep evenings for myself to recharge. Let's talk tomorrow." This approach is firm but kind, and it protects your peace without harming the relationship. Imagine that you are the person your friends turn to for advice all the time, even late at night. You want to be supportive, but it's draining your energy. Epicus emphasizes that freedom is the capacity to conduct our lives as we choose. Living freely entails choosing where to focus your energies, not disregarding the needs of others. Here are some tips for properly establishing limits that will help you prioritize your tasks and make sure you're not taking on more than you can manage. Sincere. Be calm and direct while communicating your boundaries. When people understand boundaries, they are more likely to respect them. 2 I statements are used. Instead of criticizing others, concentrate on your own needs. For instance, say, "I need some quiet time after work," rather than, "You're always bothering me." 3. Stick to your boundaries. Limits. Maintaining your boundaries consistently demonstrates to others that you take defending your personal space seriously. LSU provides another viewpoint. Knowing when to stop keeps one out of trouble. This insight serves as a reminder that respecting and being aware of your boundaries avoids needless tension and annoyance. Boundaries are bridges to better, more balanced relationships, not barriers that keep people out. Keep in mind that your primary responsibility is to yourself, your peace, your time, and your emotional well-being. Protect your energy, set boundaries, and observe how much lighter and more in control you feel, because when you prioritize yourself, you give the best version of yourself to the world, separate from yourself. The next time you feel overburdened or taken advantage of, stop and ask yourself if I have communicated my needs clearly, and am I honoring my own boundaries? By doing so, you free yourself from needless obligations and reclaim your energy for what really matters. The views of other people. Imagine if you present a group of people with an idea you're pleased of, but instead of receiving support, you receive criticism or apathy. This is a huge letdown that can lead to self-doubt, but you should ask yourself why their viewpoint is so important. We all have a deep-seated need for approval, yet depending on outside validation is like chasing shadows. You'll never really catch it emotionally. Freedom starts when you stop allowing other people's opinions to influence you. Think on defining your value. In this manner, each person sees the world through a unique lens that is influenced by their personal experiences, prejudices, and fears. Frequently, what someone says about you tells more about them than it does about you. You give them control over your feelings and choices when you absorb their viewpoints. Why allow someone else to steer your story? A straightforward but effective reminder that your value is unquestionable and unrelated to what other people think. Disengage from opinions. Whether it's compliments or criticism, it's an internal quality that isn't affected by outside noise. Let's look at a real-world scenario. When a coworker remarks something in passing while you're wearing a brand new outfit you love, you have the option to let it destroy your confidence or to remind yourself that their opinion doesn't take away from your joy. When you let go of the need for approval, you allow yourself to live authentically. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus stated that if you want to grow, be happy to be viewed as stupid and foolish. This may sound harsh, but it's liberating because growth frequently entails defying expectations or doing things that others may not understand. Seeking approval can hinder your progress, but following your own path, even if it is misinterpreted, sets you free. Here's how to begin distancing yourself from other people's opinions. 1. Reaffirm your principles. 2. When someone's viewpoint concerns you, ask yourself why it matters to you and what authority they have over your life. Pay attention to what you value, not what other people think. Become rooted in your values and objectives. 3 exercises in letting go. Imagine their words as leaves drifting down a stream, there but not enduring, and when criticism or judgment comes up, accept it without holding on to it. Lao provides an alternative viewpoint. Consider distancing yourself from opinions as you would shield yourself from bad weather. Rain may fall, but it need not drown you. By concentrating on your inner compass, You stay grounded no matter how others see you. This does not imply ignoring criticism or separating yourself from others. Rather, it means filtering out what doesn't serve you. Constructive criticism can help you grow, but unwarranted judgment is theirs to carry, not yours. Undermine your self-confidence. Stop and consider. By deciding to distance yourself from them, you regain your independence, preserve your tranquility, and create a life that is truly yours. Keep in mind that your path is yours alone, and it is far too significant to be influenced by ephemeral viewpoints. 7. Imagine that you are in a heated disagreement and you answer with quiet rather than rage. You become angry when someone says something harsh or purposefully provocative. Your face gets hot, your heart races, and your natural reaction is to respond with a scathing comment. However, what if you choose to say nothing in response? Silence is one of the most effective strategies you can use to deal with someone's negativity. It's not about giving in or avoiding conflict. It's about preferring peace to chaos. Silence in response does not imply weakness. Rather, it indicates that you are strong enough to prioritize your tranquility over the impulse for retaliation. There is wisdom in this. The less you react to negativity, the more tranquil your life becomes. Silence conveys a powerful message. I refuse to be influenced by your actions. Let's use an example. In the event that someone at work tries to discredit you in front of others at a meeting, you have two options. Argue back and forth, or take a moment to reply with, by being silent, you prevent them from getting the response they want and keep your cool, demonstrating to those around you who is actually in a stronger position. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once remarked that the best way to deal with rage is to remain silent. When you choose not to react, you're breaking the cycle of negativity and safeguarding your emotional health. Think of silence as a shield that deflects the noise without drawing you into the altercation. Here's how to make silence your go-to response in provocation. When someone says something provocative, pause before responding and take a moment to breathe. Anger frequently seeks fuel to keep burning, and silence starves it. Silence makes room for clarity. 2. Listen without defending, and 3. Speak only when necessary. Sometimes individuals just want to vent or be heard, so let them talk without interrupting or feeling the need to justify themselves. Buddhist teachings remind us to speak only when doing so enhances the quiet. They are calm, measured, and direct. This implies that you choose when and how to express your emotions rather than repressing them. Silence doesn't ignore the issue. It saves your energy for times when your voice matters. Consider how often we regret saying things in anger. Silence takes that regret away, allowing you to think things through, reevaluate, and respond thoughtfully rather than rashly. Silence often says more than words ever could. The next time someone tries to provoke you, stop and consider whether answering will be beneficial, or if staying silent will only make things worse. You defend your peace, show strength, and maintain control over the story. Keep in mind that silence isn't the lack of an answer. Rather, it's the presence of wisdom. It's the capacity to rise above the cacophony and declare, "Your words don't control me, my peace does." And that's how you win the fight without ever speaking. 8 exercises that help you melt your appreciation. Develop an attitude of gratitude. Imagine that you're having one of those days where everything seems to go wrong. Your plans fall through, someone says something hurtful, and even the smallest inconveniences make you feel angry. You ask yourself, why must everything be so difficult? And halt. What? There is a powerful truth. You cannot be both grateful and angry at the same time. Gratitude acts as a mental reset button, pulling you out of the downward spiral of negativity and reminding you of the good that still exists. If you focus on what is going well instead of everything that is going wrong, gratitude has the power to transform anger into calm and reframe even the worst moments into opportunities for perspective and peace. Even in unpleasant circumstances, like when you're stuck in traffic and running late for a crucial appointment, try this. Take a deep breath and list 3 things for which you are grateful. It could be the opportunity you're pursuing, the fact that you have a car, or even just the music on the radio. It may seem insignificant, but this change can almost immediately improve your emotional state. According to Cicero, gratitude is not only the greatest virtue but also the parent of all others. Gratitude not only reduces anger, but also increases resilience, helps you focus on what really matters, and cultivates patience. It's a tool you can use anywhere, at any time, to keep your peace. Here's how to make gratitude a daily habit. When anger flares, take a moment to think, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is there one thing I am grateful for right now? Maintain a gratitude journal by listing 3 things that went well each day, no matter how minor they may seem. This will teach your mind to see the bright side of things and to use gratitude as a reframe when faced with difficulties. Consider what you can learn or how things could have gone worse. Gratitude frequently arises from realizing, for instance, what you still have. Even if the criticism wasn't given politely, try rephrasing it to say, I'm grateful for the chance to learn from this feedback. This doesn't justify the other person's behavior, but it helps you maintain emotional control. It serves as a reminder to get up and express gratitude for the fact that even if we didn't learn much today, we did learn something, and that even if we did learn something, we didn't become sick or die. Thus, let us all express gratitude. By choosing to focus on what makes you happy rather than what makes you unhappy, gratitude helps you change your perspective from what is lacking to what is present. The next time you feel angry, stop and consider what you have to be grateful for. You'll discover that being grateful not only takes away your anger, but also gives you calm clarity and a sense of control in such moments. You'll also come to understand that serenity is something you create rather than something you find. Reframe critique as a means of reframe criticism as a growth-promoting tool. Expansion. Imagine this. You've just shared a proud idea with friends or online, perhaps at work, and someone instantly blasts it with critical remarks. When your efforts are met with negativity, it's normal to feel defensive or even angry. However, what if you could reframe criticism as an opportunity to grow rather than as an attack? Criticism, no matter how it's delivered, has value if you're willing to look for it. It can challenge your thinking, reveal your blind spots, or motivate you to get better when you change your perspective. Criticism becomes a tool for self-improvement rather than a source of annoyance. Here's an illustration. Consider that a coworker is giving you points while you're preparing a presentation. A smart idea fully captures what they're saying. How can I use this feedback to improve by choosing the second approach? You transform what could seem like an attack into a stepping stone. Criticism should be mild enough to foster growth without destroying it, much like rain. Origins. This does not imply that every criticism is legitimate or deserving of your time. Some individuals criticize because they are jealous, ignorant, or malicious. The secret is to filter what you hear, preserving the positive and throwing away the negative. Here's how to take criticism well. When you receive criticism, take a moment to calm yourself before responding. This will help you prevent an emotional outburst. Secondly, assess the source of the input. Do they have your best interest in mind? Even badly delivered criticism can include a significant insight if the person's perspective is enlightened and they learn the lesson. What can I learn from this? Let's look at a more specific case. Imagine that a family member criticizes your decisions regarding your profession or way of life. Rather than arguing or ignoring them, you could respond with something like, I hear your concerns. I'll think about what you've said. This demonstrates maturity and allows you to reflect later without intensifying the argument. Epictetus offers a timeless reminder. If someone informs you that someone says something negative about you, don't defend it. Instead, say that he doesn't know my other shortcomings because he wouldn't have brought up these specific ones. This Stoic wisdom reminds us to view criticism as a necessary component of the process of improving ourselves rather than taking it personally. When someone criticizes you, ask yourself what you can learn from it, if it's about you or more about them, and how you can improve. Lau reminds us that understanding others is intelligence, but knowing oneself is true wisdom. Criticism. The next time criticism comes your way, take a moment to reframe it as a step toward becoming your best self, rather than an obstacle. Remember that growth frequently hides in discomfort, and that those who embrace it unlock a level of strength that no criticism can shake. Growth rarely occurs when you approach it with the right mindset. It's not always comfortable, but when you welcome feedback even when it hurts, you develop resilience, humility, and a stronger sense of self. Master the technique of releasing 10. Master the art of letting go. Picture yourself clutching a hot coal that you intend to throw at the person who wronged you, but as you wait for the right opportunity, the coal continues to burn in your hand. Anger, grudges, and resentment hurt you more than the person who wronged you. The true strength is not in holding on, but in letting go. Letting go means shedding the emotional burden that weighs you down and releasing yourself from the grip of the past. It doesn't imply forgetting or accepting what happened. It means regaining your energy. The Buddha beautifully describes your tranquility and your capacity to concentrate on the here and now. Remember a time when someone harmed you. It could have been a betrayal, an unfair judgment, or an offensive remark. Holding on to resentment is like swallowing poison and expecting the other person to die. How much time did you spend mentally reliving the moment? How much energy did you use picturing conflicts or looking for? The remedy for this never-ending loop is revenge letting go, which enables you to move on rather than be mired in the past. Here's an example. If a coworker steals your idea at work, you can spend days wallowing in the injustice and allowing it to lower your mood and productivity. Understanding that your value isn't dependent on a single moment of acknowledgement. By opting for the latter, you preserve your tranquility and concentrate on what really matters for your development and future. Chances Lao imparts deep wisdom. I become what I could be when I let go of who I am. Letting go is about accepting life as it is, with all of its uncertainty, and finding freedom in acceptance. It's not just about letting go of anger or resentment. It's also about letting go of perfectionism, fear of failing, or the need for control. Here's how to get started. The art of letting go. Recognize your emotions and accept them. Repressing them just makes them stronger. Feel upset, angry, or disappointed without passing judgment. 2. Recast the circumstances. Consider this. What can I take away from this encounter? How can I get stronger as a result of it? 3. Concentrate on the here and now. Letting go is a decision you make for yourself, not for the other person. Focus on the present moment where you have the most power. Imagine letting go as releasing a balloon. The longer you hold on to it, the more strain it puts on your hand. But when you let it float away, you feel lighter and more free. Life starts to focus more on what's possible than what happened. Marcus Aurelius advises us to not let things beyond our control bother us. You will find serenity if you let it go. The next time you find yourself holding on to anger or regret, stop and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? What would my life look like if I let this go? The answer will lead you toward emotional freedom, because true strength isn't in holding on, but in knowing when to release. And when you do, you'll discover that the lighter you feel, the stronger you become. And there you have it. This doesn't mean letting people walk over you or ignoring injustice. Rather, it means choosing where to focus your energy. 10 insightful lessons that will help you control your emotions and stay. These aren't just concepts. They're practical skills you can use every day to safeguard your tranquility, develop resilience, and take charge of your responses, no matter what life throws at you. Remember that the objective is to face life's obstacles with strength and clarity, not to repress your emotions or grow apathetic. Emotional mastery is the ability to remain composed and in control of your emotions, not what occurs to you. And freedom are totally up to you. As you proceed, use these lessons by practicing stopping before you respond and establishing limits that safeguard your vitality. And let go of the people and things you cannot control. Every time you choose to live in peace rather than anger, you are one step closer to leading the unwavering life you deserve. If you found this episode helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who could use a little more serenity in their life. If you have any advice or experiences of your own, share them as well. Regarding remaining unconcerned, I would adore hearing them. Please leave a note below to express your gratitude for accompanying me on this emotional trip. Freedom is a process rather than a destination, so continue to take care of yourself. Remain mindful and get stronger every day until the next time.